Ladies and gentlemen, today we are brought in part by Layla once again. How are you doing, Layla?
Hey, what's going on? Hi, guys.
Well, what's going on is we just finished recording, which won't be posted until Friday, okay? We're giving you a little bit of a sneak peek, advance notice, but we just finished recording a lore story. So if you want to see Darth Microtransaction do some voiceover work for the first time in my life, which, by the way, you know, I got offered to do a voiceover job for some Steam fishing game way back in the day, said I would do it, then realized, totally forgot about it. And they messaged me like 2 months later, like, so about that voice line. So I was like, my bad. I whiffed that one.
That's funny.
but we did get the lore story done, and it's going to be in the pinned comments. So if you want to go see, we're going to link to the playlist, which it will be on, as well as Layla's channel, so go sub there. Today, the topic is, and it's why I have Layla on, we're going to be talking about Raid Shadow Legends being a content creator. Essentially, what would we have done the proper way starting out? AKA, if you, the viewer, are thinking about being a Raid Shadow Legends content creator, or just a YouTube content creator in general, to be honest, doesn't necessarily have to be Raid, we're going to try to discuss a few of some basic tips, things to do, things to avoid, and we'll kind of go back and forth here. You want to start, or should I?
Sure. Well, so for myself, I'm not sure those of you guys who caught our last video. If you didn't, I'm sure that DM will have a link down below, since we just did a collab last week, actually, where I talked a bit about my story. So in my story, I actually came to Raid from a sponsorship. So I was sponsored for a week, and then that was kind of it for me, right? So having only maybe done the tutorial once for a friend, I know that I was really overwhelmed after that last week. And I had so many people on my channel that were like, Layla, you should be a content creator for Raid. And I'm like, all I just did was a tutorial. Why should we do this? Like, why are we gonna be a content creator right away? It doesn't always make sense. You know what I mean? And every company, and I know DM can probably chime on this too, is every company has a different requirements. They have different, like, some are so much more stricter, some are much more lenient. And then, some of them also have perks and different things that you get as well, too. It's depending on what company you're going to work with. And Raid is no exclusion to that. Raid definitely has their own stuff as well, too.
That's true. Every company is a little different. In fact, I think it's Awaken Chaos Era, the game that people have been talking about quite lately, as I pull a Taurus here, other hero, that is just launching their Awaken content creator program. So there's lots of content creator programs out there, and like Layla was saying, with different stipulations. The problem is, in order to be able to get into those programs, you have to know how to start. You got to get enough subs that they're interested. You got to get enough views. And what's always difficult for people is in the beginning, I'm sure you get the same question being a content creator too, is how do you get started? What is it you do to get going? I don't have enough time. I work full time. How do I still try to do YouTube as a job? Then it's after that, how do I make money on YouTube, etc. And the first thing, at least advice I would like to give right from the beginning, is a lot of people focus on spamming out tutorials in the beginning. And I want to tell you why that works, okay? Because a lot of people do it and see people blow it big, but they don't know why. It's because in a new game, I'm going to use Awaken Chaos Era as another example because it's launching currently and it's relevant. So my second channel at the moment, I'm pumping out a lot of guides on the game because it's new and people are searching for the answers to questions they do not have yet. So what happens is those views get filtered into the videos that have the answers to those questions, making the channel grow, giving it priority in the algorithm on YouTube, meaning it will recommend that video over another content creator, for instance, and they build sort of a brand, or you build a following behind it, you get that priority, and then from there you're very solidified within that market, especially if you launch on a new game. This happened with me and Marvel. I got lucky and got over 1 million views the first month, 20,000 subs in like a week. It was crazy, right? And then I've tried to roll that into other games, okay? So the first thing I want to answer is, what kind of content should I do? Which is why I'm talking about the tutorials. You do not have to, and I think Layla is a great example of this, you don't have to make only tutorial videos to be successful. I mean, we did the lore one, for instance, right?
Exactly. Yeah, and that's the thing too is, one piece of advice I love to give people is you have to have a reason to be different. because, we talk about, let's use TV shows, for example. Why do you watch your favorite TV show? Twitch and YouTube are essentially the same thing. They're shows. Why do you tune in? Is it because you're trying to learn something? Is it for the personality? Like, what is it you're doing? So one of the biggest things is trying to be different and trying to find something different to solidify yourself in. So pretty much like what DM is saying is everybody pretty much knows I'm the raid lore girl. Like, I'm the one people actually message me about to ask questions when they're trying to do guides or like when things come up, which I have had that a couple times where someone will just randomly message me in Discord, be like, hey, Layla, I'm sorry to bother you, but I'm doing a guide and someone's saying this, but I think that, can you give me a little insight? And I'm like, actually, yeah, I totally can do that. So everybody knows like that's my thing, or at least that's one of the things that people know me for, is just for that. So I do think it's always important when you're starting is, find a community, find somebody that kind of vibes the way you want to be, kind of vibes how you are, kind of how you envision yourself to be, and not be like them, but aspire to maybe kind of learn from them. You know what I mean? Maybe learn. Yeah, DM knows exactly what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Pick up from.
And I can chip in here on this too, because I completely agree. I had a few people that were, and this is bluntly the truth, is I had a few people that were instrumental in making my success happen. That if they had not had conversations with me, I would not be where I am now. Like, I'm not blind enough to think that I did everything 100% by myself, right? I mean, you gotta give yourself credit, but at the same time, there is the fans that are supporting you, but more than anything, if you're trying to be a YouTuber, every now and then, if you get another YouTuber who knows what they're talking about and willing to help, it's a huge deal. I had this happen with Mobile Gamer when I had only 2,000 subs, okay? And I was starting to get a low traction because I was just doing guides, and I was kind of just the elitist type of guy looking down on people and just doing guides. And that was my thing, because I hadn't learned to not be an asshole bluntly yet, and I was just kind of that type of guy. And so I was seeing I was really good at the game, but I just wasn't like the most particularly interesting person to watch in the world. And I talked to Mobile Gamer, and after having a conversation with Mobile Gamer, I realized there was so much I did not understand about YouTube yet. Like, I was looking at YouTube from the perspective of, if you're the best gamer of the game, you will be the best YouTuber on the platform, which has nothing to do with the way YouTube works, okay? Right. So point number one for me is what I already talked about with, you don't just have to do the same thing everyone's doing. Point number two, 100% agree with Layla. If you find somebody willing to share information that is something you don't have, remove your ego and accept it. Like, Ash is giving me information because I know blatantly he's the better YouTuber than me. There is no competition. It's like he joined after me in the same category, blew past me, and is now running laps around me. I would be a fool to look at the driver that's out racing me every day and be like, it's only because of this. It's only because of advertising. It's only whatever. It's like, it's not. It's because the person understands the game the most. So I just want to add on to your point and say, 100%, that's a phenomenal point. Listen to people that are willing to give you advice, which I think that's my turn now on the flip is, here's one that is the opposite of what we just said. Don't listen to people giving you advice in your comments. I actually 100% believe that you have to follow your passion, what it is you want on the YouTube and what you're trying to do, while taking advice of people that are where you want to be. But the audience itself that gives you feedback, where it's like, I want you to only do these videos. Why won't you do these videos anymore? The more you only try to appease the audience, the more and more you're only going to become the niche that one person originally found you for. Because sometimes fans will show up, they'll like the couple, 3 videos they saw of you, the next 3 they put not their style, they'll go to the next guy. This isn't the end of your YouTube channel. It's okay when people come and go. Throughput is data that happens to all of us, and you can see that, okay? So don't feel the need that every single time you see a comment change your style. Because I've seen some smaller YouTubers, less than 100 subs, getting like 100 views, right? And they'll get 2 comments, and on the comment will be like, I really liked this, but I think you should have done the video this way. And then they just change the next video, just change it entirely. Well, the guy already told you he liked it, and you already got some views. You know what I mean? So you can stay true to the concept of your channel and what you want to publish without only changing the other people's feedback as well.
And I agree with that, because It's very similarly. The other thing that can happen, and a trap that can happen very, very easy when you're new, is if you get in there and read all those comments, you're going to get confused. Like you're going to be kind of being pulled in multiple different directions, and it's going to make it really, really hard for you to focus and kind of create the content. Where the other thing you really should be looking at is your stats and like your analytics, and see what's working instead of just random things that come in. Now, don't get us wrong, and I know DM will agree with this too. It's different if in that video you ask a specific question. If you ask a specific question, hey guys, what about this video do you think we can improve upon? Hey guys, next video I want to do a guide. What champ do you want to see and how do you want to see it? That's a very, very different thing than what he's talking about, because you're specifically asking for something that the audience, that actually can have feedback in. Right. And then of course you can choose what you want to do. But just blatantly going in and reading the comments, because it happens to all of us, is you have to be very careful, because, I've had people tell me, why do I waste my time on lore? You should stop. And I'm like, I'm not stopping anytime soon. You know what I mean? So you just kind of have to have that mindset, and you have to have that focus and know where you want to go and not get yourself distracted, I guess you could say, from the comments, whether it's on YouTube or even, Twitch, wherever it is that you're at, you just have to be focused, because that'll happen to me too, where people try to get me to change myself or change my content on Twitch. And I'm like, no, it's not going to work that way, guys. Hate to tell you, it's just not.
And you got to stay happy with who you are. Once you've established your niche and you've adjusted and you've found where it is that's working, then you can stay true to that. A lot of times, though, people are going to say, well, DM, okay, all this advice is great and that for general common sense. But, when you're getting started, how exactly are you supposed to get any traction in something that is already massively saturated? Okay. And bluntly, honestly, you can't, in my opinion, go into massively saturated markets with content that you're learning with. I think you have to be in non-competitive spaces if you're trying to make quality or content that's quality is lower than the others, because the other person already has priority on you on YouTube, etc. They're going to be recommending the other people. You have to find a way to edge in. So you need to find some kind of information that has not been provided prior if you're trying to get into a very saturated space, or you have to have a very smart marketing campaign. How Hades was doing something unique right in the start. He was doing 45-minute videos that allowed him to do account takeovers. Great strategy, gives him tons of audience retention, also doubles the income with the account takeover part as well. It's also informative because people will watch and then actually go through the same process. And at that same time, no one was really doing that kind of content and posting it to YouTube at the same time. Really good, smart strategy. And then obviously he did a lot of other things that helped him as well. But it is one of the things that definitely helped in the beginning. And one of the things people knew him for very well, taking an account that wasn't going so good and then making it into a very good account. I think that's great. So if you're looking to go into a saturated space, that's the answer there. Okay. For me personally, you got to find something that other people are not doing. Double down if you get any traction. Okay.
Yeah, I also think, kind of moving on to the next piece of this is Hell Hades, I think initially, did he start on YouTube first before he came to Twitch? So then we talk about multiple platforms, right? So this becomes the next thing is, to DM's point, a lot of things are very oversaturated. So how you have to get found is usually cross-platform. Is you kind of have no choice, especially when you're in the beginning, So then you're on Twitch, you're trying to stream, and then you could put some stuff on YouTube. And of course, there's so many other places available right now, like TikToks. Like for example, if someone's trying to start a raid, like shard pull videos are probably great for TikTok, And then we also have Twitter, we got Instagram, like there's so many different things that it can be very confusing trying to figure out where to go. So a lot of times, you try to focus on like two. So if you think you want to start streaming, that's cool. Maybe start Twitch and then do a YouTube and then try to cross promote those together and let those grow. Because the thing is, people forget is people that watch you on YouTube aren't always going to be on Twitch, and people that watch you on Twitch aren't going to come to YouTube. So it ends up being an audience that kind of grows two different ways. You know what I mean? So if you have this way to grow yourself two audiences at the same time, you might as well take advantage of that. And that's one of the ways to do it, is by just trying to cross promote your content.
And probably the last topic we should cover here, I would think, would be not getting discouraged, because I spent,
yes.
The people that don't know this, YouTube was my first shot at YouTube. I mean, I kind of got lucky out the gate, admittedly, right? I managed to make it, but the Twitch, I've been streaming 10 years on Twitch, and I didn't get partner until 19 applications. It was
I remember that.
Yeah. Everyone remembers that. We'd sit there and, did you get approved today? Did you get approved? No, another denial, another denial, another denial.
Yeah.
And they have wait periods in between it. 19 applications. I was affiliate the whole time. I had double the requirements. I had 997 subs at one point on Twitch, and I got declined. So one of the best advice I got was, again, from Mobile Gamer. He told me two things in particular that I think were the best advice I've ever got from anyone, and I'll always thank him for. Number one, he told me I wouldn't be talking to you if I couldn't gain something out of it. That's the best thing anyone's ever told me. He said, I wouldn't talk to you if I couldn't gain something from it, because it's marketing, it's business. Most people are only going to talk to you if there's something you can get out of it. Now, I'm not saying everyone, okay? I mean, there's people that are honest to God, God's gift to humanity, and all they want to do is help people, okay? There's great people out there like that. And I'm not saying to look over your back, and Mobile Gamer's been a best friend to me. He's a great guy, but it's a level of realism in business that I appreciated. It was a matter of truth and transparency that I appreciated from him. And then the second thing he told me is, Casey, no one's watching the videos you didn't make, which is basically the same concept of you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, but it's the same thing. When he told me those two things, number one, made me respect him as a person instantly. Number two, made me realize, even if you think it's a bad video, you got to put it up if you're new. Even if you are I'm tired, I'm home from work, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. None of them matters. You have to try. You have to be consistent, because if you don't show up on YouTube every day, especially when you're not making it already or not already getting picked up, or whatever term we want to use, then it's impossible for YouTube to look at you and be like, he's not showing up to work, and then just randomly promote you, and then you get big when you're not doing the work, and you're like, okay, now I can do the work. It just doesn't work that way. And I have seen that mentality from some people that will put out a video every 3 days, or low quality, or they don't improve their microphone first, because you should go audio, visual, and then overlay and everything else, right? And they refuse to look beyond, I'm not putting the time and effort in, and always looking for another excuse. So you need to avoid that mentality right off the bat. And honestly, those two things, Mobile Gamer, I don't believe I'd be where I am. I'm not saying I made it great or anything, but I'm happy with where I am. And I don't think I'd be in this position without that one-day chat I had with Mobile Gamer, in all honesty.
And I really like that you added in how long you've been doing this, because I think people forget that. I think a lot of times people see us, they see the success that we have, and people oftentimes forget that instant success isn't overnight. So you've been at it for a while. Myself and my community knows this, but I'll share this here, is this year it's going to be 5 years that I was on Twitch. Now, when I started Twitch, I was working a full-time and a part-time job, because I knew I wanted to make content creation my career. And I'm always looking forward. I always have goals. You and I talked about this off stream, is I always am looking forward. I know what I want, and I have little mini goals to get there. And so I knew that for me to make content creation my career, certain things had to happen. And that also required me to do this full-time, part-time job. I did that for 2.5 years on top of streaming 20, 25, 30 hours a week to get to the point where I was able to make this full-time, and I've been full-time since. So it's always that part, it's that trial, it's that back end stuff that people don't see, that if you're not careful, you could be discouraged. So if you are starting and you're feeling discouraged, just know that the people that are successful, chances are 99% of us have been there too. There's always that very, very one case where somebody gets super lucky and they take off, and maybe they didn't have to work as hard as everybody else. There's always that weird story, right? But the reality is it's just how it is. Everybody has a different story. Everybody has a different path. Sometimes it takes 10 years, sometimes it takes 3 years, sometimes it takes 5, whatever it is for you. But to DM's point, it's trying not to get discouraged, because it's very easy to if you're not careful.
It's very, if you want to be in a band, you have to rehearse. And if you want to be a rock star, when your first song doesn't go platinum, you can't just quit, So it's 100% that way. And you were a lovely person to talk to with this. I think you did a great job in sharing your experiences with it. I'm trying to think if there's any other just kind of basics we should shotgun out there, but I think we did a pretty good job of kind of covering most of the common sense, basic things about YouTube. And hopefully, guys, if you watch this video, you have a better understanding of both how YouTube works and how to get started if you would like to get into a position like me or Layla, for instance. So, yeah. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget, check out the lore video. It's going to be in the pinned comment. Okay, the playlist. It's going to show up on that playlist on Friday, and subscribe to Layla as well, as we're going to have more collabs over there, I'm sure.
Oh, we sure will, because the lore story was great, guys, and you really should watch it because Darth was a star. You're gonna love it. Those of you that love Darth anyway and are used to how much fun he can be, he definitely he channels some Darthisms into the story.
There's a few Darthisms in there. I like that terminology.
There's definitely some Darthisms for sure.
All right, bye bye everybody.
Bye.